Welcome back to Indie Uncensored, the space where real artists tell real stories. Today, we're sitting with a voice that feels timeless, borderless, and deeply intentional. Singer, songwriter, storyteller, everybody who is listening and watching, show your love for Obii. And so, sir, as you walk into this space, how do you feel today?
I feel like with grandmas would say, blessed and highly favored.
That's so good. My grandmother's the same way, but go ahead.
Yes. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. This interview, this conversation has been long in the making. We both on each side, we've really been working hard to make this happen. So I'm very glad to be here today. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so, as an icebreaker, I want to ask this. What kind of energy are you carrying right now?
Good question. What kind of energy I'm carrying right now? I'm carrying a end of year type of energy. I tend to get quite on the gloomier side of things when it comes to the end of the year, but 2025 has been definitely a year of output as far as I'm concerned. I've been able to create a lot, distribute a lot, and release a lot. I don't really consider myself a prolific artist. I'm not an artist that has a constant rate of just putting things out, releasing things out, because that just my artistry doesn't express itself that way. But this year, though, has definitely been the most productive, so, my creativities, which I'm so beautifully and highly thankful for. I am so thankful for the reception. I'm thankful for what I've been able to do. And I'm just looking forward to continuing that narrative in the years to come.
Understood. Now, I always say music is the product, but the artist is the story. So take us back. What was the first moment you remember music feeling like more than just a sound?
Definitely, I guess as a kid, seeing how much music changed the vibe in the room, and how people reacted to music playing or to artists performing. The first concert I ever went to was Miriam Makeba back in Italy. I was born and raised in Italy. It was a concert where there was so many people, and as a 6-year-old, you don't really understand like, what is this about? Why are all these people looking at this specific stage and this person on stage is performing and everybody has a smile on their face. But I think that was one of the first experiences where I felt like, I don't know what this is, but this feels good and I want to do something like that. And that I guess started cultivating and nurturing a necessity to express myself in that way, which then led me to chasing and looking for opportunities to express myself that way. So my story, I like to divide my life in three phases, stages. There's the Italian chapter, there's the UK chapter, lived in London for 10 years. And then of course there's the chapter that I'm in right now, this is the US chapter.
And I love that because, I'm in Germany currently, and I always find it interesting when there's chapters because, me starting out in entertainment, I was very, very young. Now I'm reinventing myself. I have some grays, I've got some hair, and things for me as a child were different than they are for me now as an adult. And
Yeah.
so I want to ask you, what did music sound like growing up for you? And I'm not just talking about just the sound as in like the beats and the drums, but I'm saying the sound as in the feeling.
Yeah. Great question. The sound for me growing up was a lot about the sound that was played in my house. I'm Italian and Nigerian, so it was Italy outside of my house, but inside, in home, it was Nigeria. So, my mom is a quintessential Nigerian mom listening to Whitney, Mariah, and Celine. While my dad was definitely more eclectic, and that's the person that I take my inspirations and kind of like musical taste from. So there was a lot of, like, of course, 60s and 70s soul music, 80s soul music, country, Nigerian, high life, Fela Kuti, Prince Nikumbarga type of music, Igbo traditional music. So kind of that melting pot, I suppose, really informed what I do. But I guess in terms of sound and feeling, growing up, the main thing, because I would listen to so many vocalists, the sound for me was the vocals. And the sound for me was the vocal delivery, meaning that it was very much about learning the tricks and learning the acrobatics and learning the beautiful flourishing things that especially as singers we like to do. And that's where I learned how to sing, but I'd like to say that ultimately it didn't necessarily fulfill me because it was skin deep. Acrobatics is always skin deep. They sound impressive, but they're not expressive. So there
Hmm.
was a necessity for me, as like you said, I started very early. I'm probably 15 years, close to 15 years into my professional career, but I've been singing for, I'm in my it's now. So I guess as I continue,
Welcome.
yes, as I continued my journey, there was definitely a necessity to transition from just being just impressive, like, oh wow, I didn't know you could do that, to expressive, being able to convey an emotion, feel an emotion, send that emotion to the public. They feel it, they send it back to you, and now you feel the same emotion with the public, which I think that's what makes the vocalist become an artist.
Yes.
So that's how my sound was shaped. Once I kind of got in okay, I feel like I know how to sing now, right? I can how to sing the ABC, the breathing and those. There was a necessity to like, what am I going to do with this? I want to be an artist. I want to convey emotions. I want to talk about my emotions. I want to move people, right? Maria Callas talks about that. She knows she is the apex of lyrical classic opera music. She says, when I sing, I'm not trying to like do all that. I know how to do it, but that's, where my heart is. I want people to feel what I feel. So you talked
Yes.
about Simone, we talked about Sarah Vaughan, we talked about Billie Holiday, we talked about Amy Winehouse, we talked about Donny Hathaway, we talked about Stevie Wonder. They are who they are because they move people. And that's what I aspire to do.
Absolutely. So before we get into Strange Fruit, because I want to talk about that, because I absolutely love Nina Simone and I absolutely love that song. If you could speak to if you could speak to the younger version of yourself right now, would that younger version of yourself believe that you're in the space that you are right now?
Honest question? You want me to be honest?
Yes, of course. That's why we're here. This is Indie Uncensored. Everything is unfiltered. Everything is honest. Everything is how you feel and what is on your heart. It's a vibe. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
Let's be uncensored. Let's be unfiltered. Let's be on the record. Let's be brutally honest. My younger self will be like, what? You're not singing next to Beyonce right now? No, you're not. Why are you not headlining the Super Bowl? Why are you not on tour at a like 100 city tour, grossing $20 million, right? But I say this with a smile. I don't say this with ungratitude. I say it with a smile because talking about kind of moving from impressive to expressive, it's that thinking is just a testament of the naivete and the ingenuity. And, when you're in your 80, when you're 18, 20, you finally feel that you're able to live your life. So there's a fireworks type of energy that you have of like, I'm going to go out there and break this world. I'm going to rock this world, break it apart. This world,
Absolutely.
only God and the sky is going to be above me. In Italian, we say, solo il cielo avrò sopra di me. Solo Dio avrò sopra di me. Like, I'm going to just,
Now,
everybody.
what did you just say? Is that another language?
Italian.
Okay,
Italian.
I was like, okay, I'm hearing it,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
was like, I want to, I got
It
you. I
is an
got you.
Italian way of saying the word is your oyster. Solo Dio avrai sopra di te. So it's something that I used to tell myself when I left Italy at 18 and moved to London, like, start spreading the news. I'm heading to there. I'm coming. But, as you grow up, as you evolve, as you mature, you understand things, you learn things. And as humans is, once you learn something, it's very hard for you to unlearn it. Once you move through a crucial learning point, it's impossible for you to go back to the person that you were before you learned something. That's in
Absolutely.
relationship, that's in school, that's in career, that's in everything we do. So I guess back then, my point was when I was 18, 20s, early 20s, my point was just to impress people. Because by impressing people, perhaps I was looking for something deeper, acceptance, standing, birthing. And as you grow up, I think, we talk about having a midlife crisis. I had a pushing 30 type of crisis. I think once I turned 28, so I was closer to 30 than to 20s. That's kind of like when you start, I had and I say this very humbly, I had a midlife crisis. It's like, what am I doing? What's going to happen with me? Why am I not like the Super Bowl just yet? Is there
And
something?
that's okay.
And that's
I am
absolutely,
now reinventing myself as well. And so I think that once you get to that point in life, you are like, bam, I'm here and now it's time to figure it out because you got all that time. Someone very close to me told me that you have lived more life as a young person than you have as an adult. So 18 years is way, there's way more in your youth and adolescence than there is in your adulthood. And that's totally okay. And I'm wondering what it felt like for you through music. Did you find that love, acceptance, and all those other things through music? Or was it in another way? Take your time.
I want to make sure that I will answer your question honestly. I don't, thank you, thank you. But I think I found, as everything that doesn't change is dead or dying. So I'm saying this to say that I am closer to self-acceptance and I'm closer to those words, kind of like self-acceptance and love and warmth that I was when I was 20. When I was in my 20s, I was a loose cannon, had no understanding of my emotion, had no understanding of trauma. I was just walking through life as a loose cannon. And I thank God for still being alive, quite honestly. So yes, music definitely has played a part in that healing, jazz music, and just continuing to feel those emotions and songwriting. My songwriting is very autobiographical. I talk a lot about myself. I also found it through therapy. And I also found it, you talk about reinventing yourself by diversifying my identity. I mean, my identity is is a whole, right? It's whole, it's one, but diversifying the channels through which my identity takes form. So though I spent my teens solely and exclusively doing music because I thought at the time that was my sole and only calling, can be quite stubborn. I'm a Gemini, so I can be very stubborn, right?
I'm Scorpio. I'm Scorpio. We're a little crazy, but go ahead.
So happy belated then. Happy belated.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I diversify myself, so I found what are other things that brings me joy? Perhaps not as much joy at the time, or so I thought at the time, as music, but my love for mental health, my love for resilience, my love for recovery has becoming testimonies, my love for education, my love for learning. So I silently, privately started, working on my education again. I got my bachelor's, in London when I was 22, and then I kind of left it. I thought that was the end. I went back to school. I got my master's, and right now I'm working on my PhD, a second year doctoral student in
And what are your studies in?
social work.
Nice.
Social work. So my research interest is mental health and substance abuse, um, health disparities, especially the health disparities that affect Black, the Black and African diaspora, and things of that sort. I was told once that when something is more than a job or more than a calling, when it never feels like you're working. And so far, music and what I'm doing right now never feels like a like a job.
And that's good because that means that you've bridged your calling and your purpose and what you enjoy into a vocation. And
Yes.
so you talked about, before we get into our next segment, you talked about recovery and social work and advocacy for mental health. What inspired your deep dive into recovery and wanting to pursue that as studies? Why is that a passion of yours?
Yeah. And of course, this is probably a story that we've heard before, but I guess I was trying to heal little Obii from Campagnola, Emilia, who was hurting, was extremely disappointed by life, and was extremely jaded. So I guess at that point, I was trying to go back to that person because that was something that I kept people telling me, like, I, you're not the person because it seems lost. You seem lost. And as you go through it, you don't realize how lost you are until you come out of it. You realize, whoa, what was going on with me then? So yeah, of course there was that. And just, by that point, I felt that I was done with music. So I did retire from music. Not that anyone cared. It was a very one-sided retirement. Like, go ahead. Um,
I'm sure somebody cared, but go ahead.
the Lord maybe. The Lord did. But it was that it was just a sense to do something else and find happiness somewhere else. Because I felt like I've received so many lashes on my back and so many whips and so many flagellations from music. It just felt like I always describe my relationship with music as a toxic relationship that you just can't seem to be able to let go forever. And I say this very humbly. And, you may break up with them, and then one night at 2 a.m., you get that call,
You get the call, and it happened.
get
More grace.
that message from like a burner phone, and you know exactly who this person is.
I'm glad I don't have any children because I understand the story all too well. But go ahead.
I'll have to tell them stop calling my phone, and then that becomes So yeah, but when it comes to my love for education, that's been a very secure. In therapy, I'm also a licensed therapist. In therapy, we talk about attachment styles, right? Secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoided attachment, disorganized attachment. When it comes to my music, it's very disorganized. But when it comes to my education, PhD, my therapy, it's a very secure relationship. Like I never had to work hard to get love back from my PhD side of things, as opposed to music.
I love
So
that.
yeah.
So, hey, when we come back, there's more with Obii, and we're going to jump inside behind the lyrics so you'll know exactly what his lyrics mean and what inspires him to create. You're tuned into the Indie Uncensored podcast, only on Wave Nation. Welcome back to the Indie Uncensored podcast. I'm your host, Carice Clemens. I'm sitting down here with the one and only Obii. The conversation has been amazing so far, and we're just getting started. But this is my favorite part of the show. It's called Behind the Lyrics. So, Obii, choose a lyric or a moment from your work that still sits with you emotionally. Take us to the headspace where that was written. More specifically, easy.
Yeah. So many, each and every lyric, each and every line comes to mind. But I guess the opening line of this song, the opening lines of this song, this is me, joy depleting Mariah, BPD, mountain anhedonia, sing to me, fables of sobriety, taste the bitter. I just did the whole verse. I just did the whole verse, but that easy is a song that I'd like to say it's pretty simple in terms of like what I'm talking about, but it's I've been working on that song 3 years in terms of the lyrics. It's one of those. I have two ways I write songs. I either write a song from start to finish in 15 minutes. Like I'm almost vomiting the song on the paper, and then I have stop and resume type of approach. Easy was definitely stop and resume, stop and start again. I wrote a little bit of it, and then I left it for like 6, 7 months. Picked it back up, left it for another 6, 7 months. Yeah, picked it, and then you get the feeling when it's like, I think the song is done. I don't want to do anything with this song. So I started the song in 2022, and easy is really about saying make it easy in the chorus. Easy is about things not being easy. Easier is about things not coming across easily. And it's about a lot of my songwriting is about that dual line that humans, we all have an instinct for creation and preservation, and we also have an opposing instinct of self-destruction and chaos. And think at any given point as humans, it's a tug of war between those two forces. And depending how we are mentally, spiritually, biologically, psychologically, and physically, we may be more towards the instinct of preservation or more instinct of destruction. So a lot of my lyrics is about that, the difference between sanity and insanity, sobriety and not sobriety, sanctity and filth, evil and goodness. So that's kind of what I
Now,
talk about. Yeah.
no, go ahead. That's kind of what you talk about. Go ahead.
And then and that's what I talk about in that song. That's what I talk about. I talk about that. I talk about this is me. That's what I say. This is me. Joy depleting mania, kind of like ups and downs when it comes to the mood that takes away your joy. This is me, joy depleting mania. BPD. Mountain Anedonia. Anedonia is a very technical,
And you
that's
sound good, like straight up without the studio. So that you a singer. But we're going to jump in. I heard you say fables of sobriety.
yes.
That resonated because you mentioned it earlier with your studies.
Yes.
You mentioned it in your lyrics. Have you ever struggled with sobriety, or is that comfortable enough for you to talk about?
Absolutely.
Have you ever struggled with that? And why is that a lyric that starts the song?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. The short answer is yes, of course, of course. And when I talk about sobriety, oftentimes, of course, most times when we talk about sobriety, we talk about substances, but I can also get sober from toxic relationships, from depressive episodes, from things of that nature. So, and all of those different things are things that perhaps I had to get you know purified from. And it's there because, again, easy is about things making not being easy, and easy is about looking for temporary band-aids. You may know where I'm going with this. Looking for temporary band-aids to make your present easier just for
Yes.
a couple of seconds, knowing that's temporary, knowing that as you indulge with these band-aids, you just buy yourself 20 minutes, maybe. And
Maybe. Go
maybe,
ahead.
maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. And then the second part is they won't save you from myself. They won't save you from yourself. Maybe eradicate the pain. It's, there's that hope that they're going to eradicate the pain, but you already know that that's not what's going to happen. So that's what ease is about. It's about that I'll stop tomorrow, and then you do. And then perhaps it
Back at
doesn't
it.
last as long. It doesn't last as long. And then, so those sing to me fables of sobriety. Tell me about that time that I was sober and tell me how that time went. It's almost like me sarcastic with myself. Sing to me fables of sobriety, right? So yeah, that's where it comes from.
Just to, now, I know it takes courage to sing and do improv and everything like that, and to come up with lyrics and to write and to give all of what you have on stage and in the studio. What does it cost you emotionally to show up and be honest in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this answer could be twofold. What's it cost me? It costs as I'm doing it, as I'm going through it, it doesn't really cost me much because it's less, it's an expressive thing. It's just Obi expressing himself. But I suppose the sanity, the mental gymnastic that sometimes, you have to go through to even get yourself to get on stage and sing and perform. It's not easy because say there's 200 people in the room, that's 200 opinions, and you're delusional if you feel like every 200 of these people are going to have the same positive opinion about you. It's the aftermath of did I do a good job? Did I do a good job? Is the a lot of people tell me a lot that I sing with my eyes closed, right? And Long time ago, I did an audition for one of those singing shows. It was a pre-audition with the producers, and I sang "Summertime," which is also on Live at Bruno's. And the person said, "Great voice, but you sing with your eyes closed. It comes across as disrespectful." And I was thinking, this person has no idea what they're talking about, because the reason why I do it is because I'm actually scared of the public. I'm quite reserved by nature. I don't give myself away at all. I'm like a cat. I'm always on I'm always in energy saver mode with people. And so the only time when I get somewhat more open is on stage, but it's a mental gymnastic that you have to do. And you can get exhausted after a show, especially if you literally give it your all. You can get exhausted because it's more than just hear all these beautiful notes and hear these beautiful highs and lows. It's about, I really want to make sure that you feel what I feel.
Welcome back to Indie Uncensored, everybody. I'm here with the one and only Obii. We've had such a great conversation, but it's now time for Studio Stories. This is our segment where we dive deep into what happened in the studio, what happened during the recording, so we can really get an in-depth of how the artist felt and feels during recording. So every artist has a story, something chaotic, funny, or unforgettable in the studio or on the stage. What is yours?
Yes, I think the first thing that comes to mind is that while we were recording the my Christmas album, I was recording like an a cappella section of Hark the Herald Angels Sings. I was at my producer's home studio. My producers have dogs that are very tiny but very loud, and they have very big separation anxiety. So dogs were in the studio there with us. One of them was sitting next to me, chewing on something uh, very loudly. And that was an a cappella piece that I was singing. So I was singing Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and the whole time you could hear this crunch in the back.
Absolutely.
And Chris was like, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing." Because I was looking at him like, "If I can hear it, you can hear it. What are we gonna do with this?" I was like, "I know what I'm doing. What I'm doing." Well, those crunches stayed in the final version because we made it the way he produced it. Now it sounds like a fireplace, because the way he was crunching it, it literally sounds like there's fire in the fireplace, and that adds to that Christmassy, cozy feeling for the acapella. So that's something that was very funny, because at the beginning I was getting a little irritated. Yes.
I love that. Coming up next, it's time for Rapid Fire with Obii here on Indie Uncensored. Don't go away. Welcome back to Indie Uncensored. I'm here with the one and only Obii, and it is time for Rapid Fire. This is the segment where it's answer first, no thinking. So here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Now look, I know how you are. You like to think a little bit. You gotta be, but this is rapid fire, meaning you hit it and you quit it. So here we go. Number one, a voice that raised you.
The voice that raised me?
Yes.
Servo,
Okay. A song that still scares you to perform.
Sweet Love.
A moment on stage you'll never forget.
when everyone at the Running Scott stopped talking and everybody was listening to me.
A dream collaboration, alive or gone.
How are you?
One word that describes your sound right now.
Expressive.
Now you said Sweet Love was like that song. Why is Sweet Love that
Because
song
Anita
for you?
Baker, I don't think people realize how hard it is to sing an Anita Baker song. Because I love singers that I love unique singers. I love singers that is just from the first note you know exactly who they are. So the Tony Braxtons, and I have a thing for altos and contraltos, Anita Baker, Sarah Vaughan. But because they're so individuals in their song, it's very easy to go into their way of singing that song. Anita Baker she's very vowel. She's like me. She's very vowel driven in the way she sings. Like when she sings sounds like this, like it's a lot. With all my heart, I love you. It's like that. So it's easy for you when you sing her song to get into your Anita Bakerisms. And it's also
I'm writing that down. Anita Bakerisms, but go. I
yeah,
like
yeah. It's
that.
kind of like the same thing with Tony Braxton. Who do you? It's like you just have to sing it that way. So but it's also a song that has a huge range, and that song is her. And it's impossible to try and match her because that's her song. So, but I still like to do it because it's such an expressive song, but that's one song that whenever I see it on a set list, I know that okay, focus, because it takes so little to sound good and takes so little to like stop. Somebody take the mic off of him, please. So yeah.
I am a Nina Simone fan, and I believe that she is one of a kind. There'll never be another. Explain to us and tell us what made you choose Strange Fruit to perform, and what does the song mean to you?
Yes, yes. Definitely when it comes to the Strange Fruit, more than Nina Simone, though Nina Simone is definitely in my top five biggest inspiration. My version was definitely genocided by the original, the person I made it famous first was Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday is also in my top five singers of all time. And I was watching, I've read everything and seen everything about Billie Holiday. I've watched, of course, all of her documentaries and films, and the Diana Ross one, the Audrey Day one, and also her documentary in 2019, Billie, which I watched 10 times at least. I was watching it again for the 10th time, and then Strange Fruit was a song that I already knew, but I guess that day it was different because I felt like, I wonder if I could do something like that. And it's one of those, the message and the weight of the song is so heavy and so intense that just being able to pick a song like that and record it was already getting the message across, And sometimes I don't know how to say that. Honestly, I just woke up one day and just decided to record it. Knowing though, being aware of the message of the song, being aware of what it stands for, being aware of how much that song costs Billie Holiday's, her sanity, her livelihood, her life at the end, her health. That was a song, I recorded a clip of that song for my socials when we were rehearsing for the live recording that we recorded of the official version of me singing that song. I'll never forget that song. I guess the kids will say it went viral because it hit, I think it's at 1.2 million views for me on Instagram when it comes to that
I
song.
call the people kids too, because I'm of the age gaps. I was like, okay, we can talk. But go ahead. It went viral on the TikTok. Go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
but it did very well. So that's just a testament of the message of the song. Of course, I mean, Nina Simone did a just as unparalleled version of that song. I am just humbly and overwhelmingly humbled that I get to play a grain size part in the legacy of the songs. That song. And if my version of the song allows the kids to be aware of Strange Fruit as a song, that's all that is a praise God and a testament to Billie. And
I love that. Welcome back to Indie Uncensored here on Wave Nation. I'm here with the one and only Obii. It's been a great time. We've been talking about mental health. We've been talking about his influences. We've been talking about his music. And it's been amazing at the end of the day. But it's now time for the indie pitch. Before we wrap, what should people be listening to right now? In your opinion, though, so hey, if you're listening to anything hot and you like it, what should people be listening to right now?
can I look at my playlist? Or what I'm listening?
Absolutely, do your thing. We all family here in the Wave Nation, nation. So you can always look at the playlist and everything else.
Let me see. What am I listening to these days on repeat?
And I know you just got your Spotify wrap up. So
I do, but because I'm an artist, it shows me that my most played song is myself, which is
I
like,
got you.
well, I see. So Finley Quay, who is a UK artist, I guess his heyday was in the 90s, but he's still touring and making stuff. So Finley Quay. Then I would say people should definitely listen to. I just came back from the Brandy and Monica show.
Boy, please.
2 weeks ago. I mean, who doesn't listen to Brandy and Monica? But
Okay, I don't, but go ahead.
no,
No.
you don't.
Absolutely not. No.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call myself like a super fan, but I mean, they did.
It's cute, but it's cute. But hey, congratulations. Good job on the tour. But Anyway, no shade to you listening, but no shade to you listening to them, but I want to hear what's next.
I was
Like,
listening to
what else is on the playlist?
and then I listen to a lot of like avant-garde jazz. So Samara Joy, I love her.
Samara Joy, I know exactly who that is. If I'm not mistaken, she's from Nashville.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I thought maybe she was from New York, but I was like my own version of events. So
You know what? She is from New York. My apologies. She is from New York. I saw her on Today's Show. So my B.
she is amazing, amazing. And then there's this new girl coming in, Olivia something.
Olivia Dean?
Yeah. She reminds me of
Yeah.
She reminds me of Amy Winehouse a lot.
Man I Need. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a hit. Absolutely. So you get some points back. You get some points back.
But yeah, she reminds me a lot of Amy Winehouse. My top 5 is Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, Nina Simone, Amy Winehouse, and Donny Hathaway. Those are my 5 biggest influences.
Donnie?
Donny Hathaway, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, top Donnie song. And you can't say This Christmas.
This definitely is not This Christmas. Be Real Black for Me with Robert. But if it's just solo, there's so many little Ghetto Boys, Someday We'll All Be Free, The Ghetto.
The Ghetto, that's number 1 for me. I love that.
I used to do it live. Then I stopped. I was like,
why you stop?
Because I feel like I'm embarrassing myself.
No, The Ghetto is a hit. Not to be confused with the Too Short The Ghetto, not the rap version, but the Donnie version, because that Donnie version is like top 10. Yeah, it's top tier. But look, check it out, y'all. When we return, we are going to wrap it up with Obii. Unfortunately, our time is commencing, and I wish it could last a little longer, but it cannot here on Indie Uncensored. But we're going to wrap it up with him when we come back. Don't go away. Don't touch the dial. And continue to stay locked in to Wave Nation. Welcome back to Indie Uncensored on Wave Nation. I'm here with the one and only Obii. As you all know, our conversation has been very, very rich. And so I want to say, first off, sir, thank you for sitting with us. Continue to everybody who is tuned in, support independent artists, stream the music, and share the stories. Obii, if there's anything that you could leave, I want you, first off, to speak directly to another artist who may be listening. Someone who's tired, creating something honest, and wondering if they matter. What would that message be for them?
Dear Obii, no, I'm kidding. Look to your path. Look to your path. Stay on your path and walk on your path. Comparing yourself to others is a natural thing that we do as humans, but winners win because they walk their path, they understand their path, and they don't move away from their path. So be yourself, understand who you are, and work on your craft. Work on your craft. Practice your craft. Rome wasn't built in a day. Michael Jackson wasn't built in a day. Nina Simone wasn't built in a day. But understand what makes you you, and celebrate that. Enhance the beautiful parts of yourself and minimize what you don't do as well as good. I got that from Liza Minnelli's documentary. And but look to your path.
Awesome. I love that you're so diverse. I love Liza Minnelli, glam. But this is Indie Uncensored, where the story matters is just as much as the music. Thanks for sitting with us, everyone. Support independent artists, stream the music, share the stories, and we will see you next time. Don't forget, stream Obii, listen to his music, and don't you ever go anywhere else but here at Wave Nation. More grace to you all. Enjoy and continue to listen to the music.